Hello friends, my name is Kishan and welcome you in this video tutorial. In this video tutorial, we are going to understand how nested try catch statements in Java exception handling works. So here I have created a project with name exception handling demo 4, and here I have created a couple of classes. So we will try to understand how we can define a nested try with respect to exception handling in Java, and in what sequence basically these blocks executes, right? So a try catch finally blocks can reside within another try catch finally block, that is known as basically nested try statement in Java. Here you should note that you don't have to have the whole try catch finally block. It can be a try catch, or you can say try finally or try catch finally as well. In case a try catch block cannot handle the exception, thrown the exception goes up the hierarchy, next try catch block in the stack, and the next try statements catch block handlers are inspected for the match. If no catch block within the hierarchy handles the thrown exception, then the Java runtime system will handle the exception, right? So let's try to understand through this example what I have said. So here you can see I have written one try statement. So this try starts here, closing over here, and corresponding catch block you have, and corresponding to this try block you have a catch and finally block as well, right? Within this try you have another try which is having some statement, and this try is having a catch statement which basically try to handle illegal argument exception. And here I am not printing the exception because my intention is to show you in what order catch blocks executes, but in real scenario of course you will need to log this exception as well, right? And this try block is having a catch as well as finally block as well, right? So if before running this program, let's have a dry run and try to judge what would be the output. So let's say if you run this program, then first of all in outer try block will be printed. Then this is the first statement within the first try block. Now control will go to the second try block, which is the nested try block you can say, and this statement will be printed. And when this line will be encountered, then arithmetic exception will be arises, right, divided by 0. Then first of all that will try to check this catch block, but this is handling illegal argument exception, so this will not catch. So in hierarchy next try block will be executed, right? Before that finally block of course executed. So as we know that even though your try block will exit with the some exception or without exception, finally executes always. So order will be in outer block, in outer try block, in inner try block, then exception will be arises. Before that in inner finally block will be executed, and in hierarchy that will try to match second catch block, and this will be matched. So this statement will be printed, and finally you will get in outer finally will be printed. So let's try to run. So here is the output. Here you can say in outer try block, then in inner try block, and in inner finally block, right? And basically when exception arises here, then this catch block doesn't match. So in hierarchy next catch block will be try to match by the runtime system. So this is getting matched, so saying that arithmetic exception caught, and finally this finally block will be executed, right? So the way we have written over here nested try block, right? So in this code one try catch finally sequence has been nested within another try catch finally sequence, right? The inner try catch block basically throws arithmetic exception which could not handle, right, as the inner catch block catches illegal argument exception. Hence this exception moves up the hierarchy and the handled in the outer try catch finally block, right? So better way to use nested try catch, right? How we can write this is not the better approach basically, right? So in this example you have seen how exception propagates and can be handled by the inner or outer block based on which catch block can handle it, right? but the better way to design nested try statements is to look for the code sections which are more likely to throw any specific exception and wrap those specific blocks in a try catch block that can handle that exception, and overall code can be wrapped in the more general try catch block. And that's the thing we are going to look into the next example, right? So here let's have a look into this example. So here you can see how better way we have written the nested try block. So we have a class is called nested try demo2 class, and here we have created an instance of basically this class and try to call its method. And here you can see how better way to write a nested try catch block. So here basically I have written a first try block, and we have a corresponding catch block which is basically catching the all kind of generic exception and try to print that exception as well. And we have a corresponding catch as well as finally block, right? Inside that we have another, so you have a try block and inner try block. Between that you can have a n number of lines of code, and that code also might throw kind of exception. So any exception will be arises within those lines of code, right, which is available before after starting this catch and after between this, right? So that is going to catch by this exception, because exception is almost in the top on the hierarchy. So this can catch all kind of exception, right? Now here you can see we are checking, we have applied a logic. If number, someone is trying to invoke this method by specifying a number greater than 7, then we are throwing some kind of exception, illegal argument exception. It's a runtime exception saying that number should not be greater than 7, right? So if number is coming greater than 7, in that case we are throwing an exception. If someone is sending a number less than 7, that's not a problem. This statement will be not executed, and control will move to the next try block, right? And here you can control will print inner try block, and of course some number. If someone is trying to send a number as a 0, if you someone try to invoke this number by passing the 0, then of course this code snippet will not be executed. This statement will be printed, but when this line of code is encountered, then arithmetic exception will be arises, and that will try to find the matching catch block, and this catch block is appropriate for that, right? So a number divided by 0 means arithmetic exception, this catch block will be matched, and exception will be printed, exception caught, and you are printing the exception message divided by 0, right? Now let's say if someone is trying to pass number less than greater than 7, then this is throwing illegal argument exception, right? And if you look into this try, corresponding catch block will be matched, right? And this exception will be printed on the console, right? And if any other exception is arising apart from this, that will be caught by this catch block. So this is the appropriate way to write a nested try catch block, right? So let's try to invoke this method by passing a different kind of input. So first of all, I am passing number as 8 as input. So here 8 is of course greater than 7, then this will throw illegal argument exception, and control and basically runtime system will try to find the corresponding matching of catch block, right? So corresponding matching catch block would be this. So this will print illegal argument exception, and this will print this complete message. So when you call this method get message, then this message would be able to retrieve over here, right? And the corresponding finally block will be executed as well. So let's see the output. Cool. So here you can see illegal argument exception caught, and here you can see the message number should not be greater than 7. Now I mean message which we are setting over here, we are able to retrieve over here, and finally of course finally block will be executed always. So and that's the reason we get the in outer finally as output. Now I am sending input as let's say 0, then let's first of all let's judge what would be the output by dry run. So if number is 0 means this statement is not gonna execute. So this statement will be printed, right? And 7 divided by 0, that means arithmetic exception will be arises. So corresponding catch block will be matched, and this will print arithmetic exception divided by 0, and after that in outer finally block will be executed, right. And if I see the output, then same we got over here, right. Cool. Now I am passing a number let's say I am passing let's say 3, then what would be the output? Now if you dry run, then this will not be true, right. So 3 is not of course greater than 7, so this statement will be escaped. Now this will print first of all in inner try block and 7 divided by 3, so that would be 2 point something 2.3, so that will truncate into the number. So 2 will be stored over here, and this will print value of a is 2, right. So first of all this line, then value of 2, and there is no exception. So finally finally block of your outer try block will be executed always. So finally this will print in outer finally. So if I run this, so here we get the expected output, right. So this is the way to basically write a nested try catch. If you write a nested try catch, then if you have a try, the corresponding catch block should basically throw an exception which is basically throwing by the statement which you write over here. And similarly, if you write some statement within this try catch, then your exception type should be the type which is basically expected to thrown by this statement, right. And of course on the bottom you should have at least one catch block which is more generic. If some other exception is arises, that will of course catch by this exception. So that's why more generic exception I have kept on the bottom, right. So that's all I wanted to cover in this video tutorial. I hope you enjoyed learning this video. If you really like this video, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel.